In the book, the presentation of the process through the introduction and discovery of the subject, the work to be done, the result to be obtained, and the closure by the author's identity and signature, which corroborates and authenticates the entire text, is very clear and didactic. Sometimes, the book is silent, but the images are available to everyone, and no one will be prevented from accessing them. The commitment to leave the book open, for all who wish to delve into its pages, is natural and inherent. No demand will be made, to anything or anyone, this being another of the great commitments. Each one will live according to their own light, subordinated to destiny or taking control of destiny. Whether the book is ignored or not, it is there. In general, things along this path are overly simple, with complexity lying in the tricks of those who struggle for survival, or the occupation of safe spaces and places. There is no shortage of tools offered to the seeker. The vast majority only adds more weight and difficulties to the walker. Paying attention to the artifices and stratagems operated by those opposed to knowledge is of the utmost importance. It is necessary to observe the tactics used with great cunning and mastery by the opponents. The central point defines certainty and strengthens faith. Through the central point, the circle and its square pass in harmony. Any distance offers weapons and flanks through which enemies attack. It is wise to be wary of alternatives. The entire process is extremely simple if operated from this center. One must be very careful with the offers and temptations that are part of this wonderful game. Staying in simplicity, purity, and innocence facilitates the breaking of any obstacle. Nothing resists purity and innocence when supported by self-knowledge. It is good to know the importance of always being attentive and available to commitments. Encounters only happen through commitments. Being ready for encounters and being self-committed are simple keys. After all, not only are the answers available to the inquirer, but also the new keys and tools brought, one by one, and each in their turn. Inattention and unavailability hinder the perception of the passage of new keys and tools brought, and consequently, their encounter. A simple observation about purity and innocence is that, when manifesting, the being is complete in purity and innocence, for the manifestation. The being brings nothing. Everything is in the being and is, with the being, one thing. Likewise, love and wisdom are in the being, because they are the being. Saying that something is part of the being divides the being. Every action or reaction is the being itself, acting or reacting in a complete way. Perfection is a concept about non-understanding. Understanding does not conceptualize anything. Defining a perfect being is considering the existence of imperfection that does not exist. Imperfection is incomprehension. If imperfection does not exist, perfection does not exist either. In the center, or in the middle, there is no incomprehension. Partitioning only happens when moving away from the middle. The being never leaves the center or the middle. The limitation of perception is what causes the feeling of separation. The feeling of separation imposes the limitation of the conscious state of being. The conscious state of being is permanent, even when limited. Every movement of the being has this presence, meaning consciousness is guiding. Activities in judgment, conceptualizations, and condemnations are the results of the limitation imposed on consciousness. But consciousness breathes fully. The being in manifestation, by flowing the various components of its nature, can put them in opposition to consciousness, creating a certain antagonism of forces. Impurity is a concept associated with this. Cacophony demonstrates the lack of sound harmony due to the clash of sounds that seem not to belong to the same music. This same concept can be established in everything. A beautiful nose over a beautiful mouth does not make a harmonious face. The definition of harmony lies in the limitation imposed on consciousness.